Hello everyone, I am Nude the Second and today I'm here to talk about the AI in this game. I'm gonna be essentially explaining how it works and what are some of the problems with it and what would be my solutions to those problems. So yeah, without any further ado, let's then start with the obvious thing, or the most obvious thing, which is the AI lines. As you can see, they have three different lines. One is the racing line, and then they have two overtaking lines here. And yeah, at the start of the race, they start like really randomly, like they could be in either one of the normal lines or they could be in one of the overtaking lines. Now, I'm not sure if this really depends on how they're gonna start the race, like if they're gonna start the race faster or slower, because of reasons that I will be talking about later. And but yeah, I think it's random. Like they might be already in the lead, but they're gonna take one of the overtaking lines. So, but yeah, essentially they use the normal line when they're driving normally, and then of course they're gonna change to one of the overtaking lines when they want to overtake. So yeah, this is essentially that. That's what I can say about it. And and yeah, that's basically it. The overtaking lines are not just used to overtake, but they also use to for blue flags. When they're getting lapped, they go to one of the overtaking lines and then they allow for the AI that is letting them to just use the normal racing line. So yeah, that's one of the coolest things about the AI in this game. I think it's a very cool mechanic and it works. So yeah, that's what can be said. And yeah, when it comes to the overtaking, when they are overtaking, they get some boosts. The overtake and the AI that is getting overtaken, they actually slow down in order for the other AI to have an easy overtake. So yeah, it's a bit funny to see that happening, but yeah, it's interesting. It does allow, I guess, for overtakes to be made easier. And yeah, another thing that also allows for more overtaking is this thing that I'm going to be talking about, which is this thing right here. So the AI has a base value of speed, excel, and grip. They have a base value which depends on the rating, how much you rate AI, and that term is going to be between 0.96 to 104. And throughout time, that number gets multiplied by a different number, and yeah, this number can also go from 0.96 to 1.04. And yeah, this number here always changes throughout time, so it's always making a different multiplying count. Not sure how it's called in English. And yeah, so this means that AI doesn't always have the same pace throughout time, and this also allows for more battling to happen. And sometimes AI has a bigger gap to the others, but then the others catch up eventually, or maybe. And yeah, so there is something that is constantly changing. It's the speed, the excel, and the grip values are constantly change because of that. And yeah, but usually, if the AI is higher rated, they have higher chances of being up there because of this, because this number always stays the same. It's the one that is set by the rating that you give to the AI, while this one is totally random and it changes throughout time. Might be after 10 seconds, but might be after 5 seconds, I don't really know. Maybe the times are longer. And yeah, it's absolutely random. And this is why, for example, if you're using like a car that gets up to maximum speed very quickly, you might see the AI is changing their speed like mid straight line, which is a bit silly, but yeah, that does happen. Usually the excel and grip is not that noticeable, although I did notice with some cars where the better AI was like managing to make the final turn in Bahrain, while some others were not able to do it. They'll understeer, and that's probably because of having lower grip. So yeah, another thing that also seems to influence the AI pace, it's gonna be their position. Let's then go back to the race. Another thing that changes the AI pace, it's gonna be this thing that we call the position modifier, where basically the lower their position, the slower the AI becomes. And yeah, it is something that exists in this game. So this is why this basically just makes AI not close to each other all the time, and also it does allow for a bigger shakeup in results. Like results are not always the same, and yeah, so there's this position modifier because of that, I believe, and yeah, I'm a bit against it. I'm gonna be speaking about this a bit further, but yeah, it is something that exists in this game, and at the same time, the top two they get a bit nerfed, so you never see the AI exactly like all like escaping. Though sometimes it might happen, especially like longer races. But one race where you could see this was in the Skips 24-hour race, where you could see how most of the AI was just in no man's land. They were all in their own lap, while the top five they were always close to each other. Like, and it was kind of weird. Like it was a full 24-hour race, but the AI was always close to each other. Like the top five was always close, while everyone else was just spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading. And yeah, another case where I could see this was in my UL career move with Mr. Fick, was my fictional character for that thing, where I was battling for the title against Kane in season 2. And in Austin, Kay had a bad start, he was down to P8, and then he just stood there, like he got stuck in P8 throughout the rest of the race. So yeah, that's the thing, it can cause some of the strongest AI to just get stuck behind because of this. This is why, for example, in the virtual races, if you spend a lot of tokens, if you have a bad start, it might be really bad for you because it might be hard for you to recover, because your AI might get stuck with shit pace because of that. And yeah, there is one of the things. Another thing that can be said is that AI does not get the slipstream from each other. I believe this is kind of clear, like you can see it by yourself, like they really just not get any slipstream. One thing that might look like they get slipstream is this thing that I talked about earlier. It's the boost that they get when overtaking, while the AI that is getting overtaken slows down. That's essentially it. And yeah, another thing that I can talk about is gonna be the slipstream, the strategy. I mean, so essentially they always pick random tires. Like it's very random. They pick whatever the tires they want. Sometimes they might pit a bit early. Sometimes they might pit a bit late. Like for example here, if you look at the top right, when it comes to the tire durability, you can see how it lasts up to 12 laps supposedly, and sometimes AI might do like 13 or 14 laps. It's a bit normal. Other times you might just do 9 laps on those mediums. And yeah, but then towards the end they pick the tire that is the one that makes the most sense to then finish the race. Because in the past, one thing that used to happen was that like I don't know, with 10 laps to go, they would pick the softs instead of the hards, and they would pick the softs just to then pit again with like 2 laps to go or something. And it was very annoying to see this happening, but yeah, it used to be a reality, but at some point that got fixed, so it's cool. Also, I really had zero idea that like in timed races, the AI really had no idea how much time it was left to the race, because sometimes you would literally see the AI pitting on the final lap. Like instead of just crossing the line, normally they'll cross the line in the pits. It was very funny to see this, but yeah, that also got fixed, so the AI now knows what they are doing. And yeah, also another thing that could be said is the rain. The AI never gambles with rain. Essentially, if there's a rain warning, they're gonna be pitting on the next lap, no matter what. And yeah, they seem to have a bit of an advantage compared to the player, because for some reason AI seems to know exactly how much rain there's gonna be. There's going to appear, because there's times where there's a light rain announcement, and while usually the players pick the inters, sometimes AI might actually pick the wets, because you know that light rain is not going to be really that light, and we might see this thing you see at the top, the the water meter, they might see that thing further up. It's not really light rain, so they know that they're gonna pit for the wets. And yeah, something that can also happen. It's very rare, but usually if the track starts wet, but it's like not raining, sometimes there could happen this thing where some of the AI will start on heaters and others will start on softs. And I actually do love when that happens because there's a huge shake up and it makes things very interesting. And yeah, there is something that can happen. Also, when they pick the heaters, they will only pit when the track is drying. They will only pit if the track is fully dried, and yeah, that's it. That's what happens. And if it's wet, they might pit even with some water on the track. I don't know exactly what's the amounts, but yeah, they if they have wets and the track dries or it's about to dry, they will pit immediately. While with the inters, they only pit when the track is fully dry. So yeah, it's a small detail. Also, when it comes to the pits, there are checkpoints, and you must have seen if you ever edited some tracks or if you ever made some tracks, you must have seen on the track editor that there's the AI goes to the pits and the AI stay on track. So essentially, the AI goes to the pits is pretty much to trigger the AI to use a line, which is the pits line. I can demonstrate it here in the tactics. If we go to pit stop, you can see here at the bottom how it went from normal to pit stop. And essentially now, what happens here is that once they get into the pit stop line, they get a lot of grip, they get extra grip suddenly. You can see how the Porsche is no longer drifting, but they also get lower acceleration for some reason. And yeah, here he goes into the pits. And then let's see how it exits. As then there's the AI return to the track checkpoint, and as soon as they hit that, that acceleration is going to increase. And there he goes. Here we couldn't see well because he got punted, but yeah, that did happen. As soon as it hit the AI return to track checkpoint, it suddenly increased the acceleration. And yeah, another thing I can say, there's also another checkpoint which is AI stay on track. This one is, like sometimes it happens that AI will go into the pits, but it fails because they got blocked or something. So that checkpoint exists, so the AI touches that checkpoint and they stay out for another lap. So instead of getting just stuck into the pit wall, they will touch that checkpoint and just continue with their lives. And so yeah, this is why it's very essential. In this case, I did pause it if you can see the cursor, not totally sure. But essentially where the pit lane starts, that's where you should put the AI stay on track, but of course on the side of the track, not on the side of the pits. And yeah, that's it, what I can say about AI, about my explanation about AI. And yeah, that's what I can say, but now let's go to what are my issues with it and what could be improved in my opinion. So the first thing is the lines. I like the idea of the AI lines existing. I think it's a good thing. It allows us to easily sort of program our own AI and which part of the tracks do they go side by side and which parts do they always use the same track to be safe. And I think it's a cool thing that we can set that thing ourselves. For me it's been very useful as someone who takes other people's tracks and edits the AI myself. And yeah, it allows for the players to have custom tracks and have their own AI in, and it makes custom tracks playable. And it allows us to play on a lot more tracks, and I think it made things a lot easier. But yeah, one thing that I feel like would be interesting to have, this is not exactly one of my biggest priorities in here, but one thing that would be interesting would be if AI would have a defensive line. One line that they take when they're getting overtaken, where they know, because this is the thing, if they slow down when they're getting overtaken, that means that they know when they are getting overtaken, and could be interesting that instead of just slowing down, that they could go defensive. But this one thing I would make it is that it would not always activate, because in real life Java is not always go defensive. But yeah, it could be like a 50-50 chance that AI goes defensive or not, and yeah, then the other AI line, the other AI who's overtaking, they could take a different line. Like instead of going on inside, they will take the outside line, and it could be interesting. It could be some interesting battles side by side this way. And yeah, that's one of the things that I could say, but not really a big thing, to be honest. And yeah, also I do like the idea of the AI having some boost when overtaking. I think it's a very interesting thing that happens, and yeah, but uh, what can I say? So yeah, one of the things I would absolutely get rid of is the position modifier, because I do think that it's stupid. I do get the reasons why it exists, but having the idea of AI spreading by just being in a lower position, I think that in itself might in some cases actually make the results more predictable. And yeah, at some point things can become boring because the AI just absolutely spread out, and the fact that they don't get any slipstream doesn't help. And but yeah, I would absolutely get rid of the position modifier. And I know like the biggest reason is because of the results to not be predictable, but this is what I would do. First I would actually uh, what can I say? First I would actually allow for the AI to get slipstream from each other. So actually enable the AI to AI slipstream, where yeah, for those who don't know, this is how slipstream works in this game. I'm not sure. There is basically a sprite that is behind your car, and as soon as the car behind touches that sprite, it basically gets the boost of speed. Yeah, I'm not sure if it has this shape here, this green shape, or if it has this one. But yeah, one thing that I feel like could happen with AI would be to have some kind of dirty air where they get slower, or there's some kind of a barrier kind of thing where when the AI is touching this part, they get a bit slower, or they get a bit nerfed. So maybe not that much, but yeah, it could be something to make the overthinking a bit harder, yeah? And I think it could be interesting. So like if an AI has like a lower, um, what can I say? If the AI has like a lower, like if one of the strongest AIs has a bad start, they could have a harder time coming back because of this, and it could still randomize the results. And I think the way the stronger AI will have bad results will be in a more realistic way, where they just get stuck in traffic instead of getting stuck with shit pace. So yeah, this is one of the things I could do to have some kind of dirty air mechanic or something, where maybe it could be like when they're getting slipstream, they can get lower turn rate or something like that. So yeah, they could have higher speed but lower turn rate and all of that. So it could be something interesting, I believe. And another thing that could maybe happen is that for the slipstream to be lower, because this is one of the things. This is why the AI has would be like stuck with each other if there was slipstream between them. It's because it's very strong, and so yeah, of course that would happen. That they will be stuck with each other. But if the slipstream would be lower, I'm not sure if that would be exactly the case. If they would be stuck with each other, I believe we could see the AI breaking that slipstream range, because there's another thing that I would change, and it's this. Uh, right now, it's the speed, excel, and grip that changes throughout time, and it's also the speed, excel, and grip that is also the base value that determines AI skill. And but one thing that I would do would be to what can I say? instead of the speed changing, it will be the turn rate instead. Because one of the things that happens is that when the AI has the lower turn rates, you can see them like braking a lot more. So I can actually demonstrate this to you. So right now you can see, let's watch this Peugeot doing a lap. Just to show you, currently they have the AI turn rate at 2.0, while the normal turn rate is at 1.35. Or maybe let's pick a car that is more isolated on the track, like the Toyota. So you can see here, this is how they're braking currently. Also the way they brake, it's based on their line. And they're a little bit blind when it comes to this, when it comes to the braking. They only know that they have to brake as soon as they turn. Which is a little bit in line with how the player brakes as well, at least is how I brake. It's usually a bit after I start turning, but it's very close in timing. And yeah, this sometimes can cause AI to brake a bit late, and usually when it comes to if they have lower grip or if the line itself is too sharp, sometimes AI will just understeer. But as you can see here, you just saw like AI suddenly increasing their speed on the straight line. I think you saw that. But yeah, just making you watch this because yeah, I wanna see you like just to demonstrate how AI brakes right now, and then how it's gonna be braking as soon as you lower their turn rate. Yeah, I believe this is enough. So let's then showcase how they do it with lower turn rate. So let's change the turn rate here. Edit class. So yeah, if you wonder how the turn rate in this game works, so there's this turn rate here, the normal one, and throughout time, in the matter of 40 frames, it then changes to this one here. So it goes from, it's a progressive thing, it's not like sudden, it's a more progressive thing, where it goes from this normal turn rate, and if you continue to press the turning key, then it gets into this max turn rate. It's like a matter of 40 frames, so like 0.66 seconds. But for the AI, it's this turn right here, and if you change this, it's gonna affect how AI brakes. So let's change this one to a much lower number. Let's go down to this one maybe, and also if you now lower a lot more than what it was. Actually, with AI you can do it, but if you do this with the player, the normal turn rate here it's 145. If you here do it lower, it's gonna also change here. So yeah, just a little curiosity, and but yeah, here let's just lower a lot more. So before it was x 2.0, now it's gonna be x 1.35, and now I'm gonna be showing you how it brakes in the turns. Hope it's noticeable. I believe it should be. Let's just put one car to make it easier to watch this. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you this because I want to show you how reducing the turn rate will also affect how much the AI brakes. So yeah, they start the race normally. And you can see how it brakes a lot more, also braking more here. Also here, I don't think that it used to brake before. And also it's braking so much that it's going too much on the inside in some of the turns and it goes into the grass. So yeah, you can see how with lower turn rate AI just brakes more and more. And so this is why I would say that the AI should have a different turn rate throughout time, and to have a turn rate on their base value that for the turn rate to influence to be affected by the rating. Because yeah, you would see the AIs like gaining on each other on the turns and not on the straight line. And yeah, that is something that I would like to see happening. I didn't have the slipstream, so that AI could overtake each other and still keep the boosting make the AI slow down when they're getting overtaken, so there could still be some battles in. And then find something that could make the AI just not get stuck to each other because of the slipstream. So there could be some kind of dirty air where the AI gets a lower turn rate when they're behind someone. So there's a chance for the AI to break that to break the the slipstream range. And yeah, that's one of the things that I would propose essentially. So yeah, let me see if I can remember more things to speak about. But yeah, one thing I could maybe do in terms of strategy would be make it a bit less random. But one thing I could maybe just change would be at the start for the AI who is starting ahead, they would pick the soft tires. The AI who's starting more behind, picking the hards, and for the AI towards the middle to pick the mediums. Something like that. Like usually that's how it happens in real life. Who's starting ahead wants to keep that track position, and since they tend to have more cleaner air, they will go for a faster tire. While the AI who's starting more behind, they go for the hards because if they start on soft, they might get a bit stuck in traffic, which you don't want to do when you have the better tires. So, and while picking a slower tire, you can actually afford to be stuck in traffic because you're using a slower tire either way. And it also allows you to get rid of the traffic by just pitting later and things like that. So yeah, that's what I can say. But it's not really that much of an important thing. Also, the other thing is the rain. They never gamble with the rain. It could be interesting if some of the AI could choose to just pit one lap later to make things interesting. Like if it's the fake rain, they could then just stay out the entire time. And it could be very interesting if it was possible for Apply to program this. So yeah, so to summarize, this will be my solutions. So first thing would be to have maybe a defensive line. Then it would be in terms of pace, instead of the speed being affected or changing throughout time, it would be the turn rate. So the AI always gains on the turns, and the skill gap. Like if it's a car with high skill gap with like lower acceleration and stuff, it would be you would see the AI getting a bit more spread, and on the tracks where there's more straights or with the car that is easier, you will see the AI getting closer. So just like how it happens with the players online. And then the position modifier, I will just get absolutely rid of it because I think it's very annoying, and I would enable the AI to AI slipstream, and yeah, this will basically be it, and have something that will allow for the AI to break that slipstream range. That will be it by reducing their could also reduce the other things like the acceleration and the and the grip. To be honest, just reducing the acceleration could be interesting actually. As yeah, they get lower acceleration, but if they still keep on that slipstream range, they could then have like higher speed and still fight for that position and overtake them. I think it could be interesting to actually see this, and I think it will allow to see like a lot better battles. And yeah, when it comes also to the defensive line thing, it would be something that AI would not always defend. It could be like a 50-50 chance of AI going defensive. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't think I have much more to say. I hope you guys liked this video. Hope it also informed you a bit about AI. And I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.